The women's coaches complained a lot, and because of this we started the checks. We didn't just start it like that, but at the request of the female athletes. When we did the test at the World Championships, the test showed that these were men. It's sad when we shout to the whole world that we are for gender equality and the protection of women, and then they simply destroy women's sports.
Habt ihr Wodka?
Why you attack me? Why you attack me? Why you attack me? Why you attack me? Okay, I speak. You want to speak? I try to say that the medical result, blood result, looks and say the laboratories that this boxer is male. I am obstetric gynecologist, general surgeon, and specialist in IVF, in vitro fertilization, and of course in my genetic department. So that means many things. I don't want to speak too much medicine to you. I don't want to bother you, but many times, for many couples, I prepare babies. Men, woman. I know that the President Bach, I respect him. He's the president from International Olympic Committee. I understand everything. I know that he say the science is poor. For me, science is not poor.
All right, guys, so we got to follow up on this story, probably the most popular story in the world from the Olympics, involving the alleged biological male boxers Imane Khelif from Algeria and Taiwan's Yu-Ting. Okay, now, since Imane Khelif essentially made a biological female boxer quit in 46 seconds, the world has been upset with the fact that the Olympics is allowing an alleged biological male to fight women in the Olympics. However, Imane Khelif has come out and defended themselves and said that, hey, I'm actually a female, okay? I was born female. There's no proof that I am male, except the IBA, the International Boxing Association, is sticking to their guns and saying that, no, we tested you. We believe that you are a male, that you have XY chromosome. And this comes as the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is defending themselves from criticism of their testing standards, because Thomas Bach, who is the head of the IOC, says that, hey, the criticisms from the IBA, whose chief is Mr. Umar Kremlev, are not founded. Okay, their tests, the tests that they did, are flawed, and that they are doubling and tripling down on this idea that Imane Khelif and Yu-Ting are in fact biological females.
How can somebody being born, raised, competed, and having a passport as a woman cannot be considered a woman? If they are coming up with something, we are ready to listen. We are ready to look into it. But we will not take part in a politically motivated, sometimes politically motivated cultural war. And allow me to say that what is going on in this context in the social media with all this hate speech, with this aggression and abuse, and fueled by this agenda, is totally unacceptable. Every woman who is, according to the rules, a woman, then has to be allowed. And the definition of who is a woman, and to ensure the fairness of the competition, for this we have our framework in place.
test. And there was a press conference centered around the controversy as the liberal media wanted answers from the International Boxing Association to prove that Imane Khelif and Yu-Ting were in fact born with XY chromosomes, right? They want more details about the test that allegedly both of these athletes took before being disqualified from the International Boxing Championships after failing their gender test. So again, the media is obsessed with essentially trying to make the chief of the International Boxing Association take back his claims that these two boxers are biologically male. And let's just say that did not go too well, as Reuters cut the stream and some BBC reporters actually walked out of the press conference because they hated to hear this man refuse to back down from his allegations.
Right, Umar, if Umar can't answer this is for Chris. Very simple question.
We did verify what they have between their legs. For this purpose, there are doctors and medics. We don't know whether they were born like that or they changed something or whatever. There are doctors who can check it, who can verify all these things.
There was a number of concerns from boxers, coaches, indeed the medical team, medical staff, the ringside doctors, regarding these two boxers in particular. Blood tests were taken. A gender test was taken as it was during the Women's World Championships in 2022 in Istanbul. At that point, I'm just going to highlight here. So on the 17th of May 2022, the results were taken. The blood tests were taken by a lab known as System Tip Laboratory in Istanbul. We can give the license numbers out, so you'll be aware of that. And the results from there were issued on the 24th of May. Okay. The tests were taken, and the results, I'm going to discuss this shortly, the results that were brought out were inconsistent. So, further to which, there's been a number of questions as to why, but we came about to the next female championships was taking part in 2023. So there is a time gap, but the reason for that is because we wanted two tests. So there's two tests required, not one, but two tests. Time gap between, and then to the next World Championships, which was taking place in India. Okay, so we go to the female World Championships that took place between the 15th and 26th of March. Both boxers entered the championships, and at which point, on the 17th of March 2023, both boxers were asked to take a further blood test. That happened, and on the 23rd of March, the results came through, and it demonstrated the chromosomes that we refer to within the technical and competition rules that make both boxers ineligible. And that was then further ratified by the BOD, our board of directors. It was taken there to remove both boxers from the championships. That was on the 26th of March 2023. We had a letter that Mr. Yarolimpos had put forward to the board, and with this it explained fully what the situation was. We've got a document that Mr. Yarolimpos sent to both boxers, and within that document, and we'll let you see these documents, there is an attached referral to the blood tests that were taken. Okay, we're not in a position, due to non-disclosure and medical in confidence, we're not able to give you the actual blood test itself, but what we can show you is the front cover copy with the annex, which we'll put up on show shortly to indicate what that was, and a signature on the bottom of both documents by both boxers who received those blood tests accordingly.
Yeah, so you've seen that, you heard that. So essentially, the International Boxing Association is at war with the International Olympic Committee, okay, over this idea of, okay, who is doing the gender testing that has the most integrity, right? That's what it's really about, okay? The IBA is essentially accusing the IOC of destroying women's sports by not having rigorous testing standards that allow biological males to compete against biological women. This is essentially what they're clarifying in this fact sheet that they put out about the tests that were taken, the fact that both of these boxers had to take 2 tests. They did not pass the test because presumably it was a chromosome test. They define what a male is and what a female is. A male is an individual with XY chromosome. Individual with XX chromosome is a female. And they're basically saying, look, we are telling you that they did not pass our test. We cannot give you the test results because it constitutes private medical information. But those 2 boxers received a copy of the test. So if they want to release the test, then hey, they can, right? That is who you need to go to for your information. And I find that to be very fascinating because, you know, a lot of people, conservatives, people on the right, people who are upset with this situation have been getting a lot of pushback and backlash claiming that we are wrong. Okay, we're wrong about our opposition to this person competing against biological women because this person is a biological woman. However, if this person is in fact a biological woman, then they should have no problems whatsoever releasing the results of the chromosome test, because if they have XX chromosomes, then hey, the conversation is over, right? It's over. You have humiliated everybody who doubted this person, okay, and whether or not they're actually a woman. However, if the paperwork comes back and it shows that these boxers are in fact biological males, meaning that they have XY chromosomes, then basically conservatives and people who are opposed to this would have been proven correct. Now, again, these individuals may have some genetic condition which results in their genitalia not developing properly, which could lead to doctors and parents or whoever mistakenly identifying the individual as a biological female. But if they have an XY chromosome, then by definition, they're not a biological female, okay? They are a biological male, okay? And I guess in certain situations like that, you can make an exception and say, hey, since you don't really have a penis, and in some cases, these individuals just flat out have female body parts, maybe they can't give birth, but, you know, they got a vagina or whatever, okay? And if that's the case, hey, you know what? Fine. You can live your life as a female. But when it comes to competing against biological women in sports, you can't do that, right? You just can't do it, okay? We're going to bar you from that. But when it comes to, you know, other things, you can, you know, live your life as a female or whatever, but you're still biologically a male, right? You're still biologically a male. So I personally think that's the middle ground here, right? I think that, you know, since this individual allegedly, right, has female parts, if that is the case and they have an XY chromosome, then it's like, okay, for the purposes of competing in sports, that's not fair. But when it comes to other things, it's like, okay, well, I mean, look, physically speaking, on the outside, is basically a woman, right? And again, it's not because they chose to be a woman. It's because of a genetic anomaly in regards to how they present themselves. So, hey, I can understand why it would make sense for this person to have the lived experience of a woman, okay? So I get that, okay? This is different than the trans thing, okay? In the trans situation, I don't think we should be making all these exceptions for people who are choosing to try to switch their gender, okay? I think that's the difference. In this situation right here, this individual, although it seems as if, you know, according to the IBA, they have XY chromosomes, they're male, because, again, they were born with female parts, then, again, it just makes sense that they live their life as a female. But when it comes to certain situations in regards to competing against women in sports, where that male hormone actually really matters, then yeah, we have to say, no, you can't do that. You have to compete in the other category with, you know, trans individuals or other intersex individuals if they have that category, right? And if they want to do that, fine, right? If you want to have a trans and intersex category, then in my opinion, I think that solves a vast majority of these issues. But for whatever reason, the powers that be don't want to use common sense because they're woke, and wokeness is antithetical to common sense. So, you know, they don't want to use common sense to solve these issues. I think a lot of these issues are manufactured because, again, the powers that be want as much chaos as possible in society, as much confusion as possible, when, again, the solution here is simple, right? Just have another category for intersex/trans individuals and boom, right? We're good to go, okay? We don't have to ever deal with this again, but the agenda here is clear in regards to what the Olympics is doing. I think personally that they have to have more stringent testing standards. If what the IBA is saying is true, then, you know, I think it really is a bad look on the Olympics to allow these boxers to fight against biological females if they, in fact, do have XY chromosomes. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.